Bem-vindos ao canal Legado Católico. Eu sei que o título desse vídeo pode ser um pouco sensacionalista, mas algumas das coisas compartilhadas por esses exorcistas são realmente chocantes. Então, prepare-se para as revelações que veremos a seguir. E vamos começar. A primeira revelação da lista é o que o padre Chad Ripperger, exorcista, reportou sobre Joanne Kathleen Rowling, autora da série de livros extremamente popular Harry Potter. Ele disse que a autora frequentou uma escola de bruxaria.
J.K. Rowling went to witch school before she wrote the books. The spells in the books are actual spells. There, I had a case of possession. I wasn't the one to liberate them. I was just one of the, I started the case, but I had to pass it to someone else because I had to move to another location. Of a person who was possessed by 5 demons who claimed that they were the demons that inspired J.K. Rowling to write Harry Potter. Tolkien had magic. I mean, is it just because of magic? No, it's not just because of the magic. It's the whole thing. But in Tolkien, the magic was a literary device. It wasn't something in which the person, when he heard Gandalf saying the magic, I want to be God Gandalf and do these magic things. That's not what you just didn't have that. It was just recognized that in this case, a certain thing beyond the natural means was necessary in order to bring something about. Whereas in the J.K. Rowling's thing, it's so imbued and it makes it look so glorious and all those things. It's really enticing, and that's another reason why I tell people don't let your kids read it.
A número 2 é o que o padre Carlos Martins disse durante uma palestra recente, que quando ainda estamos no ventre de nossa mãe, não pertencemos aos nossos pais ou a Deus, mas sim ao diabo.
When you were conceived inside your mother's womb, when you began to exist inside your mother, to whom did you belong? Right? So there were 3 people involved in your making. Right? Your mother and your father each provided the biological components for you, for your existence. At the moment that those biological components were just right, God infused a soul. 3 involved that you're making. In that moment, to whom did you belong? You belong to the devil. And this is the legacy and the inheritance given to you by your first father, Adam. It's because of the sin of Adam that this is the case, right? And I say the sin of Adam because it was his sin. The covenant was made with Adam, not with Eve. When Eve ate the tree of the knowledge of good and evil in Eden, what happened after that? Nothing happened. Nothing. Go read Genesis chapter 3. Nothing happened. When Adam ate of the fruit, what happened? All hell broke loose. The covenant was made with Adam, not with Eve. That is why the Messiah had to be a man. He had to be a new Adam. And just as Eve prepared the sin for Adam, she handed the fruit to Adam. Now, you men, don't start beating up women over that, because Adam was given the charge to look over the garden, to guard it and protect it. So where was he when Eve was dialoguing with the serpent? He was standing right next to her, and he said nothing. He failed in his duty. That paved the way for the sin. The first thing Eve did wrong is she started talking with the serpent. You never talk to the devil, ever. Ever. You never talk to the unknown. There are these foolish shows on, ghost hunting shows, paranormal shows. They start speaking into the dark. Who are you? We're here. Are you friendly? To talk to the unknown is to grant it a relationship with you. Is that really what you want to do? I never converse with evil. In an exorcism, I issue commands. I never answer questions. I never ask him how he's doing.
A número 3 da lista é o que o padre Vincent Lampard compartilhou durante uma transmissão ao vivo com o apologeta católico William Albrecht. E isso é, o diabo não pode mais usar o nome Lúcifer, porque usar o nome Lúcifer é reconhecer Deus que o criou.
You know, when let me tell you this one. When I left Rome, the priest that trained me, I asked him, I said, "What's the most difficult case of exorcism you've ever dealt with?" And he told me that he worked with a person for 5 years who was dealing with demonic possession. And the demon would not reveal itself and whatever. So he finally said, when the demon manifested, "Is your name Lucifer?" And he said the response he got back was rather interesting. He said the demon told him, "I used to be known by that name, but no longer." And he found it interesting that the devil can no longer use the name Lucifer, because to use the name Lucifer is to acknowledge the giver of the name. And because Satan has now rejected God, he can no longer use the name that God had given him.
Número 4. O falecido padre Amorth afirmou que Adolf Hitler e Joseph Stalin estavam possuídos pelo diabo. Em suas próprias palavras, e eu cito aqui, "Estou convencido de que Hitler estava possuído pelo diabo." Se pensarmos no que foi cometido por pessoas como Stalin ou Hitler, certamente eles estavam possuídos pelo demônio. Isso é visto em suas ações, comportamentos e nos horrores que cometeram. E até o Papa Bento XVI disse algo sobre isso. Existem relatos confiáveis de testemunhas oculares que sugerem que ele teve algum tipo de encontro demoníaco. Hitler diria, tremendo, "Ele estava lá de novo." E outras coisas do tipo. Não podemos entender completamente aqui. Acredito que podemos perceber que ele foi levado para o mundo demoníaco de alguma maneira profunda, pela maneira como ele podia exercer o poder e pelo terror, o mal que seu poder infligiu. De um lado, Hitler era uma figura demoníaca. É suficiente ler a história dos generais alemães que repetidamente tomaram a decisão de dizer-lhe na cara o que realmente pensavam, e que então, mais uma vez, eram dominados pelo seu poder de fascinação e não se atreveram a fazer isso. Mas, por outro lado, quando você olha para ele de perto, a mesma pessoa que exerce essa fascinação demoníaca é, na verdade, apenas um bandido banal. Número 5. O inferno é uma misericórdia para os demônios, afirmou o Monsenhor Stephen Rossetti. Algum tempo atrás, eu soube de um vídeo em que o Monsenhor Rossetti conta que ele perguntava aos demônios se Jesus ainda os ama, e os demônios respondiam sim. E alguns de vocês podem argumentar que é impossível para Jesus ainda amá-los, porque os demônios estão condenados ao inferno. Eles rejeitaram Deus. Mas, olhe por outro lado. Esses anjos caídos ainda são criação de Deus. E lembre-se, não é Deus quem parou de amá-los. São os demônios que se recusam a aceitar o amor de Deus e estar em sua presença.
One of the major obstacles is always the reality of suffering and evil. How can God allow this? Perhaps one of the greatest is the existence of hell. People say, well, how can God send anyone to hell? Something that John Paul II, Pope John Paul, told us. He said, God really doesn't send anyone to hell. He said, people choose it. But even the existence of hell, we can still struggle with, well, how can God allow this? I began to realize in my ministry as an exorcist that hell really is, shocking but true, really a mercy. Everything that God does is loving and merciful, even though it might not seem it at the time. I notice in exorcisms then, when we hold up anything holy, the demons go nuts. You hold up a crucifix, Ecce, Crucem Domini, Futet Parte Adversae, they start screaming. If something small like that could cause them an immense amount of suffering, imagine what it'd be like for the demons to be in the presence of God. It would be a torture beyond belief. They couldn't stand it. So hell is a place, sadly, away from the Lord, who they rejected, and were they in God's presence, it would be a suffering beyond anything. So as crazy as it sounds, for them, hell really is a mercy.
Número 6. Annelise Michel, aquela moça retratada no filme O Exorcismo de Emily Rose, foi amaldiçoada quando ainda estava no ventre de sua mãe por sua própria avó. Isso de acordo com o que é relatado pelo padre Joseph Giannuzzi.
There are 4 types, I would say. 2 are innocent, 2 are not. To be deliberate or indeliberate. The 2 innocent, those that have been the subject of a curse in the womb of their mother, and there are more than you can imagine. There was a famous film called The Exorcism of Emily Rose that was, in the film, about 90% accurate. It's a true story of a woman named Annelise Michel from Germany, Bavaria, I think, Bavaria. And she was afflicted from the time she was in her mother's womb by the curse of her grandmother, who didn't get along very well with her mother. And these symptoms of being cursed, did not manifest themselves until her college years. So they were dormant.
Número 7. O diabo pode enviar mensagens de texto. Agora, alguns de vocês podem considerar essa afirmação uma mentira completa e perguntar: que outras mentiras você quer que acreditemos? Mas, pare por um momento e pense. Esses anjos caídos são muito mais inteligentes do que nós. Eles conseguem atuar também sobre a matéria, se Deus permite. E eles vivem mais do que nós. Pense por um momento. Você realmente acha que esses seres antigos e poderosos não podem aproveitar um celular para nos enganar? Número 8. Nostradamus, chamado de O Vidente, e muito conhecido por seu livro As Profecias, uma coleção de 942 profecias que supostamente previam eventos futuros. Segundo o padre Ripperger, Nostradamus foi capaz de prever eventos futuros com a ajuda de demônios. Claro, os demônios não podem ver o futuro, mas eles fazem boas suposições com base em suas observações.
When they were created, God infused in them the totality of all of the natures and all the concepts of everything that would ever exist. So, boom, all at once they have this perfect comprehension of everything. So all they need to do to know what a tree is just think of a tree and boom, they instantaneously exhaust to the degree that their intellect can what a tree is. This is true about human beings. All they have to do is think of what a human being is. They know every single faculty. They know exactly how it works. They know how DNA works. They know how disposition works, the DNA connected to the disposition. They actually know how our appetites and emotions work. They know how the interrelations of the various faculties. They also know, just by looking at they also know the various kinds of causes and things perfectly, so they know causes. This is how Nostradamus was able to use divination or sorcery in order to figure out a large amount of stuff that was actually going to happen, because of the fact that the demons can look at the state of things and then they know perfect the nature of causes, and so they know where these things are headed.
Número 9. Demônios sofrem mais durante exorcismos do que no inferno. Isso é o que os demônios disseram ao Padre Amorth durante uma sessão de exorcismo. Para simplificar, a razão pela qual eles sofrem mais durante os exorcismos é porque esses exorcistas apresentam muitas coisas sagradas a eles. Essa é a maneira mais simples de colocar. O exorcista lerá as escrituras, apresentando relíquias sagradas, água benta e assim por diante. O Padre Amorth, que era o exorcista oficial de Roma, realmente relata esse caso. Então saiba disso, os demônios sofrem mais durante exorcismos do que no próprio inferno. Bem, espero que esta compilação tenha sido útil para vocês. Mantenham-se na graça de Deus e evitem sempre o pecado, para não abrir espaço para a ação do mal em suas vidas. Gostaria também de aproveitar a oportunidade para agradecer a todos os inscritos no canal, que neste mês de agosto cresceu tanto. Obrigado mesmo pelo apoio, pelos comentários e orações. Que Deus lhes pague e acompanhe.